Hi everyone and welcome again here. For this video, we will take a look at how the Apple MacBook Pro has evolved over the last 5 years. We will do that by comparing two MacBook Pros that were similarly priced and spec'd for their time but were released 5 years apart from each other. Subject 1 will be a late 2019 MacBook Pro equipped with an Intel Core i7, and we'll compare it with Subject 2, which is a brand new MacBook Pro that has Apple's M4 Pro SoC. Subject 1, the late 2019 MacBook Pro, was released back in November 2019. Looking back at the available models and price for it on the archived version of Apple's website from beginning February 2020, we can see the following. There was a 13-inch variant equipped with an Intel Core i5 and two versions of the 16-inch variant, one with the Intel Core i7 and a more powerful version with a Core i9. The one we have here is that i7 variant, so more or less in the middle performance-wise. At that time, this machine was available for $2,399. Subject 2, which is a new M4 MacBook Pro, has been released a few months ago, on October 30 of last year to be exact, so as good as 5 years after that late 2019 model was released. This one comes in a 14-inch and a 16-inch variant. The 14-inch comes with the base M4 chip, M4 Pro chip, or M4 Max chip. In my case here, we do have that 14-inch variant, and it is equipped with the M4 Pro, which is similarly as with the late 2019 model, about in the middle regarding performance options. If we compare prices and look at that M4 Pro on a 16-inch model, we can see that it is currently listed for $2,499. So again, pretty similar to the $2,399 of that 5-year-old model, especially if we take into account inflation. Let's start our comparison now with the externals and design. Both of these laptops immediately give you a high-quality impression. The body is made of aluminum, which definitely adds to that. Build quality is simply excellent. The 2019 model has been my daily driver for the last 5 years, has traveled a lot in a backpack and was extensively used nearly every day. Still, it looks almost brand new, and by the impressions I get from the new M4 model, I think this will apply here as well. Design-wise, the 2019 model hasn't aged a bit to my opinion. It still looks modern, and I don't even know which one of both actually looks better. For connectivity, the 2019 model only has 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports and a headphone jack. That's it. The M4 has 1 Thunderbolt port less, with 3 in total, but in return, you do get an HDMI port, a card reader, and a MagSafe connector instead. These additions make it quite a bit more convenient over the sparse options on that 2019 model. Regarding wireless connectivity, we can just see the expected revolution from 802.11ac on the 2019 model to 802.11ax, which is Wi-Fi 6E on the M4. The keyboard on the 2019 model is very decent as well. Luckily, Apple decided to get rid of their troublesome butterfly keyboard and reverted to the older but great scissor switch type of keys just before releasing this device. Compared with the new M4, I'm not even sure which one I like better. The M4 has a bit of a different feedback and might feel a bit more mushy, if I can call it that way. And at first I was not really a fan of it, but the more I type on it, the more I get to appreciate it. But overall, I would say they are pretty much similar and more than decent enough for a laptop. One thing that Apple did get rid of in the new version is the touchbar. Probably a missing feature for some people out there, but for me personally, although I really like how it looks and it looks really cool, I have almost never really used it. I prefer the regular keys as on the M4 or like on my MacBook Air M1. I do understand the use case in theory, but in practice, I don't see many people take full advantage of it, including myself. Let's move to the screen now. On paper, the two models have a similar resolution, 3072 by 1920 for the 2019 16-inch model and 3024 by 1964 for the M4 with a 14-inch display. This is again very royal. Brightness, on paper, is double of the 2019 model with 1000 nits for the M4 and an even higher peak brightness of 1600 when using HDR. But quality-wise, these are simply uncomparable. While the display on the 16-inch 2019 model was, and still is, really good when it was released, the M4 is in another league. The so-called Liquid Retina XDR technology is just amazing in terms of color and black levels and feels very smooth and fluent. You just have to see it with your own eyes to appreciate it. And although everything is crystal clear and sharp, the display somehow manages to be pretty calm for your eyes. One thing that I did need to get used to is the cutout on top of the screen, which also causes the menu bar to be large and kind of out of proportion. I'm not sure, but I think I would have preferred a slightly bigger bezel over the whole width of the machine instead. Finally, before we take a deep dive in performance, let's talk a bit about battery life. And here, as you probably are already aware, since Apple switched to their own silicon chips that are ARM-based, we are no longer talking about numbers in the same range as well. The late 2019 is equipped with a 100 watt-hour battery, which, according to Apple at least, should give you up to 11 hours of battery life. In practice, it never came even remotely close to that, and I think 5 to maybe 6 hours with very light usage was more realistic. Under heavy load, having it last 3 to 3.5 hours would be normal. The good news is that now, 5 years and almost 280 battery cycles, as you can see here later, the battery still performs pretty well, and I still managed to get over 2 hours of light to medium usage on a full charge. The M4 then, although it is equipped with less than 75% of the capacity of the 2019 model, 72.4 watt-hour to be exact, easily gets you over 10 hours of battery life with medium usage. It's that good that I even forget that I need to charge the laptop at all, and you never have to worry about getting through the day even with heavy usage. I'd say that it manages to last 3 to 4 times as long as the Intel-based model at least. Let's get into performance now, and the best way to get to know how this evolved and differs is by running some benchmarks on both of these devices. As I usually do, we will start the tests by running Geekbench on both machines for the CPU. And after a little less than 4 minutes, the M4 already completed all of its tests and shows us the results. It takes the 2019 model more than 3 minutes longer to get through the same tests, so even without comparing the scores, it's clear which one is faster, but that shouldn't be unexpected obviously. Comparing the actual scores now, we can see that the difference is really big. The 2019 model gets 1163 for single core and 4474 for multi-core, while the M4 gets 3825 and 20250 respectively. So, the single-core performance of the M4 is almost the same as the full performance of all cores on the older model, and in total we can see the M4 is about 5 times faster in pure CPU performance. Next is the graphical or compute test in Geekbench. Our late 2019 model is equipped with a dedicated GPU, an AMD Radeon Pro 5300M with 4GB of GDDR6 on top of the built-in Intel UHD graphics on the CPU. The M4 has no real dedicated GPU, but instead it can make use of the so-called neural engines on the SoC for this type of test. And as with the CPU test, the M4 finishes the benchmark first in just under a minute, while the 2019 model takes a bit longer. The results are pretty confronting here as well. 24,139 versus 60,506. So again, more than double the graphical performance on the new model, despite the older one having a dedicated GPU. Next, we'll also run the new Geekbench AI test, which measures how these systems would perform in machine learning scenarios. As this becomes more and more important, it's a good idea to take a look at how these numbers compare and how far we've evolved in the last 5 years when talking about new types of workload. After about 1 minute and 10 seconds, the M4 has completed the tests. The 2019 takes more than 7 minutes longer to complete the same, which means that we don't even need to look at the numbers again to draw a conclusion here. Clearly, this older model is not a good choice if you're looking into this type of tasks, as the M4 just runs around it in circles with a score that is 15 to even 20 times higher. And let's end the series of benchmarks by taking a look at storage. In terms of capacity, the 5 years younger successor is still equipped with 512GB of storage, while being similarly priced. I would say that's typically an Apple thing, as I think we could expect this to have become at least 1TB or even more by now. At least the memory has been increased, but only from 16 to 24GB. Even that I would consider less than expected, especially in this price range. Now for storage performance, not related to that memory, we can run AGA system test on both of these machines. And as with the previous tests, the old model does not stand any chance with the results for read speed being at least double of this 5-year-old model, and write speeds even go up to 3 times as fast. I think it's time to draw a conclusion here, and I guess that after these performance tests, it should be pretty clear that we are not just talking about an evolution of the MacBook Pro over these 5 years, but rather a revolution. That is, of course, largely related to Apple's decision to move to the ARM architecture. If they would have stayed on the x86 platform, we would have seen an increase in performance over 5 years, but what we see here now is not just a bit faster, like a few percentages, it is multiple times faster in all areas: CPU, GPU, AI, and drive performance as well. On top of that, this also comes with double to triple the battery life, and next to that, you have a largely improved screen, and as a bonus, the M4 is completely silent. I don't think that I have ever even heard the fan spin up on this machine, while on the 2019 model, unfortunately, as soon as you do something more than watching a movie or browsing the internet, the noise is very present. That was all I have for this video. I was happy to see that we don't have just an evolution, but more of a revolution over those 5 years on the MacBook Pro. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know in the comments what your take is on these differences and improvements. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tech comparisons, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks again, and hope to see you back here soon.